Hello and welcome back to the channel everybody, and today I'm checking out the F15 by DC Designs, and a huge shout out to Just Flight who have entrusted me with taking a look at this aircraft. And I don't know if they saw how I fly at 100 knots with a Cessna 172, but they're taking a big risk letting me jump into the cockpit of one of these things. If you're impatient, the TLDR of this video is this thing is a lot of fun. And it's actually pretty easy to pick up and fly. So as I said in the title up above there, this is kind of a beginner's look at this aircraft. It's not the kind of aircraft I personally fly a lot. So I was really interested in getting into it and finding out what it is all about. The package comes with 4 aircraft, the F15C, the F15D, you guessed it, the F15E, and followed by the F15F. No, just joking, it's the I. There you go. So today what I'm going to do is use the F15D right here, and we're in Lakenheath Air Force Base here in the UK, and we're going to use this aircraft just to run through some of the features that you can expect when you pick up this aircraft. But for a start, let's just jump in the cockpit right here and having a look back here, and that guy, he is pretty worried about what's going to happen. He's like, why the heck did I sign up to this? How do I get out of here? Anyway, jumping back into the cockpit here, everybody. One thing you can do is down over the right-hand side here, you can actually go ahead and put some of the static elements on the outside of the aircraft. Hold on, let me just click this canopy lever so we can see what I've done here. The canopy's going up, which is a nice feature. You've got the engine guards there. You've got the GPU. You've even got a guy here with, it looks like a semi-automatic rifle of some description, ready to shoot anyone who gets close to this aircraft. But as you can see, we've got all the little tags hanging down, and we have got the engine covers. Whoop, I went too close there. The engine covers on the back right there. So that is a cool little feature. One thing I'd highly recommend everybody is that you jump into the manual that comes with this particular aircraft. It runs through the history of this particular aircraft, and it's done pretty well in combat. In fact, it's done exceptionally well. 104 kills, 0 losses. Obviously they didn't have any terrible pilots like me that would accidentally crash these into the ground, so 0 losses right there. That's pretty amazing. But the manual itself is really, really good. It's pretty simply laid out and easy to understand. It shows you how to both arm the aircraft, and I'm going to run through that in just 2 seconds, but also how to go through the startup procedure, which I'll show very, very soon. It's very, very simple. It gives you a good idea on the different instruments that are available and some of the V-speeds and the operating procedures that you need to go through. It's not too in-depth, it's pretty basic, so if you are new to these types of aircraft, you're going to be able to pick it up and play pretty easily. So in terms of adding some bombs and missiles and stuff like that, it's actually pretty straightforward and pretty flexible. You just go up to the weight or the fuel, weight and fuel option up the top there, and as you can see here, you've got a list of different armaments that are available for this particular aircraft. And the way you add them is by simply putting in the weight beside the particular bomb or missile you want to throw on there. It looks like these are mostly missiles, so if I put 4-1 here for the AIM 7, 4-1 there, 4-1 there, 4-1 there, so 410 pounds for each of those. If I just jump outside the aircraft right now, you can see that we've now got those missiles on the rack ready for someone to randomly accidentally fire them at people they shouldn't be. No, they have a lot more control than that. Now, so for, I could go ahead and obviously go ahead and put 380 up here. You can give it a full rack if you want. This one doesn't appear to have any bombs by the looks of it, but some of the other variants certainly do have bombs. Here goes some different types of missiles. As you can see, my knowledge of missiles is not up there. But you can easily add the armaments, I should say, and depending on which model of the aircraft you use, as I said, will depend on the type of loadout that you're able to put on here. There are GBUs and other types of bombs, JDAMs, that sort of stuff that you can add to other variants of the aircraft. So as you can see, very, very easy to add those. I don't think you can actually shoot these things at anything at this point, but they do look pretty cool. Okay, we're back inside the cockpit here, and let's just run through the startup procedure because, as I said earlier, it's pretty easy. And the reality is these aircraft are designed to start up pretty quickly because obviously they need to be scrambled and at short notice. So over on the right-hand side here is most of the switches you're looking for. Here goes battery first, then avionics. So figure that out. You also then, it says in the manual, go ahead, check to make sure you got the correct fuel the correct fuel loaded, which is obviously pretty important. Having fuel is quite important, by the way, in case you're wondering. Go ahead and throw the fuel flows on over there. I will get there eventually. And then the intake over here is another one that you need to throw on, these left and right intake switches. Man, spit it out, Mace. So the throttle I've got on full. I shouldn't. I only need about an inch right there. And then back over to this side of the aircraft. Engine number 2, go ahead and crank that. And here we are with the engines right in front of us, funnily enough, and it takes about 30 seconds for these to spool up and then get back down to idle, and it's very obvious once these engines have started, so I'll jump cut to when they're about to fire off. And here we are here, ladies and gentlemen. As you can see, you've got that heat haze firing out the back of that right hand engine. You can probably hear in the background that engine starting to spool up. And one thing I have noticed is the sounds when you fly this aircraft are pretty cool. So that's spooling up. That's going to go right up to pretty much max, not quite max, and then it's going to spool back down to idle. We're back inside the cockpit here. The engine number 2 has started, so we go ahead and go through the same procedure here with the engine number 1. And obviously once the engine has spooled up and done its things, you can hear engine number 1 starting to rev up right now. That this switch will just automatically go back. So that's the startup procedure right there, everybody. Really easy. Alright, the aircraft's fired up, ready to go. Just a couple other things to take note here. You can throw the lights on down here. That doesn't have many lights, by the way. You can put formation lights on if you like. You can go ahead, turn your nav on, and also your strobe lights. We're not on the runway yet, shouldn't throw those on, but hey, screw it, we're making it up as we go. The other thing you can do is go ahead and turn on your HUD right there, and it's got all the information that you need. In the manual run through what all of these things mean. You might look at this and go, what the heck is going on? It's pretty straightforward. Some of it's pretty self-explanatory, but what we'll do, team, is let's go out onto the runway, take off, get up there. I'll show you how the autopilot works, a couple other features, and we will get into it. See you soon. Okay, we're cruising along here at 459 knots, just climbing slightly there up over 7,000 knots. Let's just take a quick look at the autopilot. It's very easy to use, by the way. Just go ahead down here to this panel and engage autopilot. So the autopilot's now on, and all I need to do is, if I want to hold this speed, indicated airspeed hold, if I want to set a heading, I can just go ahead and press heading hold, and whatever my current heading is set to, it looks like the heading bug's just a little bit to the right hand side there, and you can obviously adjust that heading as you go, and just put it on the heading that you would like. Obviously you've got approach hold when you're coming in to shoot the ILS and stuff like that, nav hold if you're navigating to a beacon, and altitude hold. Did I push that before? Can't remember. I have now. The nose is going down to maintain the current altitude. So there you go. It's sort of a toggle on and off button. So as you can see, it looks like that it's off, but it's actually on. So if I go ahead and press this now, it will disengage the autopilot. Looks like the heading bug's actually over here. I was smoking something really strong right there, thinking it was just over to the right. Anyway, so it's all pretty easy to throw the autopilots on, sit back and relax and enjoy the flight. So if you want to make some cool screenshots or videos or whatever it might be, then you can just throw it on autopilot. Here we are, straight and level, holding altitude, holding airspeed. Makes for a pretty pleasant flight right there. Pretty easy. The controls are all pretty basic, as you can see. It makes for a pretty comfortable journey. Okay, we now need to answer some very important questions about the F15. Number 1, can it take off from Lukla? Can it take off from a mountainous airstrip? the F15 fly under the Golden Gate Bridge. So there we go, ladies and gentlemen, the F15 by DC Designs, courtesy of Just Flight, and as you can see right now, it's really easy to control this aircraft, very responsive. I'm just using the good old Logitech Extreme 3D joystick, which works really well with it, by the way. You might have a HOTAS or something similar, but the aircraft is very maneuverable, particularly at low altitude, even for a terrible pilot like me. Now, one thing you do need to be aware of is this thing is fast, so at those low altitudes the game can struggle a little bit to load in some of the scenery, depending on the strength of your rig, obviously, so this is one thing to take into account. But overall, as I said in the intro of the video, this is an exceptionally fun aircraft to fly. It's easy to pick up. Make sure you check out the manual, it's got everything you need to know to get into it, but I reckon you get a group of your mates in this thing here, go flying around, see what you can do with it. I'm sure you're going to come away thinking this thing is a tremendous amount of fun. But there we go, ladies and gentlemen, the F15. Get into it. Thank you very much for watching. Make sure you smash that like button down below. Subscribe if you are new. And until next time, everybody, take it easy.